just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young.
Hello all. Welcome. Am I being cut off? I think I am. I'm gonna have to adjust my camera at some point. I moved a few things and kind of slid to the right, my perspective, and it seems like the webcam is now off. Oh well, it happens, right? How's everyone doing? It's the weekend. Maybe it's still the weekday for you all. For some of you. Shouldn't be, but I don't know. It's good. It's been one hell of a day, at least temperature-wise. I think we finally joined the rest of the world and got the heat wave. Like the top of the peak of the heat wave, because I've been running my AC all day. And compared to yesterday, I was kind of freezing every now and then yesterday because the AC kept it so cold. But now, today, I've been like semi-sweating all day. It's not fun at all. So yeah, I'm gonna have to live with it. So a lot of breaks, a lot of water. How it is. Right, so for the day, I think the title gave it off a bit. We're working with the train again. Starting to see the end of the terrain material, at least first phase of it. I want to get it to a point where I can kind of envision a rough layout of how the terrain material, terrain textures kind of blend in with the rest of the world, environment stuff, and also that it's keeping up with changes in the terrain, which it is doing that right now. But the textures I'm using are not to my liking, at least for the one that is meant to be for the slopes. Flat surface, fine. It's just basic snow. Although I do have an idea, which we'll not be touching on today, but one thing that will enhance that feeling of snow, because right now it's kind of dull. The normals aren't really popping the way I want it to, which is fair. It's snow. I don't think the normal maps are really popping in any type of snow, apart from maybe when you have like a wind-swept hill or detail, but the main flat surfaced snow doesn't really give off much of a normal map or height detail, right? So yeah, so the slopes need something like a cliff, which would be really nice to have. I'll be looking at a few cliffs. We'll be looking at a few of them at some point, not sure when yet. Just gonna launch PureF, have it on the left side. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. I'm just gonna do that. Lock it in. Live, there you go. So I've gathered a ton of assets from Fab. We're gonna play around with these at some point. So you do have the basic snow textures, which I want to blend between. Right now, I believe I'm using one of these two. Yeah, I think it's one of these two. But as we see these other ones, they do have some really nice details. So I want to use that. This is probably more interesting because I think the second texture I'm using, I believe it's this one. And the way it is right now in Unreal feels almost like it's like a sickness, it's a skin disease or something like that. It looks really weird. So this one needs to be used in very specific areas, and it's just less of it, I think. It doesn't really fit the image I have in my head. This one could be interesting because you have these wind details, which would be more interesting areas, I guess, where you have less trees, like more open areas. I'm not sure how that works. I think it does, though, so we'll experiment with that. Again, these are future stuff, so nothing for today. I'm just going through some of my ideas. This one really cool, adding more details, but as it is, we only have these two. And it's going to be like that for some time, because there are a lot of other areas of the game that need some tender love. Been neglecting those parts, so we need to make sure that most of the areas of the game, which comes to sound effects, VFX, game mechanics, storytelling, all of those are at roughly the same level of completion. That makes sense. So yeah, the environment is coming along. We're gonna work more on that. Probably we'll focus on adding some of these things because we already do have a mask for the path. All we need is to add the texture. Well, first of all, they need to go through designer first and make sure we package the textures in the right channels. Then inside Unreal, we'll just add it to the current material and just swap out the solid color that I currently have as a placeholder. So yeah, this one will be a fairly quick one. And these are, if I could, I would love to get to these today, but I feel I need to prepare them a bit more. Watching me go through Blender and kind of go through that same motion again and again might become boring in the long run. A few of them, probably, but most of these will have to be offline stuff. But maybe a few of these I'll go through online or when I'm live and just show off, just to show how I usually go about preparing assets that I've downloaded from Fab. Yeah, and that's it. So let's get this, move this to the side. Let's see, here we go. All right, bit more water. So the next, what we're going to work on today, though, I'm just going to say that, or am I cup of water, is we're going to work on something with a method. At least in Unreal, it's called texture variation. It might be called something like texture bombarding or something along those lines. I think it's NVIDIA who came up with the idea or the method. Doesn't really matter. I don't know the details, the historical details of using these, but we'll have a method that not distorts, warps the current textures, but it manipulates the UVs in a way that removes the tiling patterns that you usually get when you have tileable textures. We'll have a look at that in a second. Well, I'm going to use that, add that to the landscape material. I think that will be a great addition to adding more fidelity to it. Ooh, great. Love it. Let's press this button, this button. Yeah, all right, there you go. I don't know why, but my stream deck is slower than usual. I'm not sure why. It's not that bad, but it gets annoying. Right, let's move into Unreal. And I'm familiar with the way it works, the texture variation thing. I've never used it myself, as far as I can remember. I think last time I saw it being used was a professional setting, so someone else had done it before me. I just used the parameters to adjust a few tweaks to it. But in this case, we're going to set it up ourselves, and rather than working with this terrain texture, that the snow, it's really hard to tell what is repeating patterns or not. So let's go to the Assetsu, or we can do some experimentation without affecting rest of the level. It's also some geometry, box cone. Why isn't there plane? All right, it's a different tab, I guess. All right, what else can we do? Let's increase the size. Then, let's see. Let's add it into this, just as test material. Let's go to materials, make it M, test material. And let's add that. Right. There we go. Next, there is the engine category, right? I want to find a texture that has these repeating grid patterns. So something like that could be, maybe even this one. That could be nice. And I also do believe it has a normal. It would definitely be obvious what's happening. Let's pick this one. so. And just for the hell of it, also add, I believe this is the normal map. And we need this. So this is pure basic stuff, nothing like, it's just 3 or 4 nodes. So I just want to make sure that this is what we get. Perfect. And let's add a bit more of these squares. Let's multiply it by 2 to start with. Like this. That gives us this pattern. Let's do that again. A third one, or a third repetition. How about this? There you go. I think that could help us a lot. So what I'm expecting now is to see some of these areas be rotated. That is the main idea. And it might be very obvious when it comes to the what should we call it? The seams on this type of grid texture, but all I want to see right now is how various parameters affect the final result. Let's see. So the idea, if I remember correctly, variation, I believe it's this guy. So we do have a height map, and we'll get the height maps from somewhere. That looks like a height map, doesn't it? Black and white. So I'm going to select it. As you see, it's telling me it wants a T2D, which is, I believe, a texture object. So let's add that. And I'm going to implement that into this guy. And then I think we need the tiling to happen before we input into this guy, not the base UVs. So let's input that. So to have various, I believe this is the guy that needs to go into this. You can already see some results happening. Nice. Which channel to use? Which channel? From this guy? All right, and it says it needs a V4. Let's just do this. But I'm assuming we need to do this too. So this is just a way of telling it, hey, from this guy, I believe it's from this guy, check the red channel. That's what I'm doing right now. Because you can always have things like roughness, ambient occlusion, or other black and white texture or data that's inside a texture object. So right now we're just telling it, hey, don't use all the channels, use the red one. Use, and that's an SB, which I believe stands for static bool. Static bool. And I wanted to use the random. High quality edge comparison. I'm not sure if I want that. Let's do this. I'm probably going to have to do some research. We're going to have to Google this in a bit, but for now, I think we're doing great. Next, variation scale, which are scalars. We can see the S. Let's move these aside. Do this. Variation scale. Variation levels. Don't know what these needs to be. Well, we check. We can see what they've used as default. UVs, variation scale, nothing. None of these are at default stuff. All right. I guess that is fine. Oh, there we go. They probably need to be at 1 at least. And let's add another one. Let's call it height. Not spell. Lens. There we go. Add that. Do we use dither? Right. Okay, so these needs to be static bool. There we go. Let's call it dither. Let's have these checked as false to begin with. I need to delete these. Let's make sure we have everything exposed so we can make change inside a static mesh. Sorry, static here instance. Static mesh. Random RND location scale. Oop, that's not correct. Go. That. Let's do an edge. Comparison. That's all of them. Awesome. That is then plugged into this guy. All fine. Good. Save. Let's get back to content, environment. Make material instance. I like to have prefix MI at the beginning. Do this, that, and add it to this guy. Nothing should change apart from what's assigned. Awesome. Let's see, texture version. We don't need that anymore. We need to launch this guy. Go. Don't need all of these. Let's focus pull these guys. That's new, isn't it? Did I add that? That seems to be part of this one. Wait. Is there a parameter? There's parameters inside. Okay. Didn't know that. Okay. Let's make sure that all of these are in the same group. Call it custom. So this guy is somewhere in here. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so it comes with exposed parameters. That's fair. All right. So what happens then? This looks terribly off, right? What if we do this and that? These needs to have some values. Something's happening. Right. R&D is more of that. Yeah, right. Looks like there's probably a better texture for this. Oh, we found a different one. We have these. That could be something, I guess. What else? That's a lot of stuff. Can I remove some of these? You're in engine materials. Let's go engine. This is a bridge. Content. How about that? Nope. Editor materials. Let's see. Engine materials. We got this, all right. And it's all in the same folder. All right, fine. Let's have you moved over here. Just want a simple material. How about search for brick? Cobble. Right. Yeah, none of these, right? Alright. I think I have a better idea. Let's not waste time on these. Let's go to environment. No, landscape. It's landscape. There we go. Let's go textures. Let's pick this guy. Let's do this. There we go. Remove this guy. Then I need this. Go. Why does it look not so terrible? Texture will normal. Alright, it looks terrible, but let's go with it. And instead of this, do we have something else we can use? Well, this. Oh, sorry. I can't do that. What I can do is pick it, then go to this guy, the text object, but I need to pick alpha, which means I need to increase this and lower that. Right. Then go back. And we don't need to tile it that many times. Let's give it to one tiling. We can still see some seams. Not sure why, so let's see if we can't figure that out. Let's see what does you. Okay, you do this. The more of these I have, the more of these layers I have. All right. How about we make it 1 or 2? And the scale, we can increase the scale, okay, and decrease, of course. Let's also keep that at 2, but at comparison. What does that give us? Still this very sharp stuff. Now they're gone. All right. So I'm trying to figure out is whether or not I can remove. Okay. It did something, but it's not what I want. That's also something else that seems to be moving each one of these new patterns to a different area, which of course increases the randomness, I guess. I can do this. And that is necessary. That is random scale stuff. Yeah, nothing as far as I can tell. All right, so that is the height. Fletcharge, how you doing? Not sure what you mean by 217, but welcome. We're trying to figure out how to use this node called texture variation node, which is a very... It's fairly advanced. It takes up a bit of performance, but it does have a fair bit of this randomness to a normally very tileable texture. If you know, you know, fair enough. And I guess I do not know. Maybe one day you'll tell me what it means. How about this? So usually what I should be able to do... Can I tell the difference? Let's add... Okay. Just so we can see the difference. Static switch... parameter. Let's just call it switch for now. And if we want to switch, we're going to do this. Wow. So what I'm trying to do now is just figure out if this is worth doing or not. Where's the switch? There you go. So for switch, this is the normal repeating pattern. So we can see the repeating patterns over there, there. I'm assuming it needs to be at least two places. And if I remove it, there's some repeating, but it's less obvious. What I don't like right now, we can find it, is this. It's a very clear theme. And I'm pretty sure you can get away, like, don't have that, but I don't know which one of these parameters it is. And I'm trying a few things, but it's just not working. Which tells me it might be time to do some Googling. Let's see, texture, very documentation. Not much there, so let's see if we can't get from this guy. Prismatic Dev, highly recommend him. His YouTube channel, if you want to learn about stuff in Unreal, 5-minute channels or 5-minute videos. He's a great guy. Great source. Ooh. Really feeling the heat now. I think it's actually warmer now in this room than it was before. Let's see if I can survive this. Alright, so I'm gonna mute the music for me and see if I can't figure this out. Let's see. Mm-hmm. He's using the absolute world position. Interesting. Does that make a difference though? I don't know. But how about we try it out? We're testing right now, so why not, right? Let's go with world position. And I'm assuming, well, he's using the X, Y, and Z, but he's also masking out the blue channel, so I'm guessing we can just do this. And he's doing a 500 divide, not sure why, but let's try it out. Oh, right. I need to do that too. That's a mistake. Oh, right. That could be something like that. Oh, there you go. I think that's... Yep. I mean, there's still this weird, ugly thing, but now we're actually using the height details. We didn't do that before. And I just plugged in the red channel, which makes sense. It needs 4 vectors, not a single float. All right, fair. But how about we keep up with what he's doing? So rather than doing this, plug this in right there. What else did he do? Nothing so far. you can tell by holding over. Oh, there you go. I think I knew that at some point, but let's try them out. Let's try the default stuff. That would be 6. This guy is 0.5. That makes sense. So that is good. That's good. You're good. I was kind of hoping to... Can I make you smaller? Pretty sure this guy is meant to make you smaller, but for some reason you're not smaller. Don't like that. Can I do something about that? Vector. No. Balance to vector 4, and then I get that. I can't seem to find anything that allows me to make it smaller, so let's just remove it now. Oh, we got an ad break. Didn't know that. Alright, let's have an ad break. So I usually do this if you're new here. I usually take the, just stop during the ad breaks. Don't want people, if people are interested and they're on Twitch side, but now they got ads, well, I don't want them to miss anything, although I'm sure they don't miss much right now. Alright. I should probably keep the lid off. So once we're done, let's see what this looks like. And if you can get rid of that seam, I'm not sure what to call the artifact between the seams. If we get that done, then we could probably just move this into the other material, the main material. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. And once we're done, we could move on to what's it, the height blend, or rather the runtime virtual texture blend. So rather than have this very sharp blend between, or transition between a rock and the terrain surface, hopefully we can get that smooth in, as if it looks like it's actually piling up snow next to it or something along those lines. All right, Twitch, welcome back. Didn't miss much, just rambled more or less. React. All right, so let's take a break and do that, and let's see. So the blending is less obvious than before, but you can still see these weird things. I'm not sure I like that. How about we reset all of these? How about that? There it is. So why is it that obvious? Why is it so... Can't be this, right? Well, it could be, but it's not. There's something else. I can justify influence. That makes sense. All right. Then why is this a thing? Could it be the dither? No, I don't think it's the dither, but let's try it. Nope. Yep, nothing. All right. Let's see if we'll get some clues if we watch the rest. Yeah, all right. So he's just going through right now why this method is better than a different method. So it's just pairing those two. Nothing too important. So let's skip a bit. Hmm. Okay. So we're reaching the end soon, but nothing on. Right, so nothing. Nothing that helped me. The question is it the height map? That's the problem. Did he put his in linear? That's what I've done. See what he's done. So grabs that. Yeah, nothing on that. All right. So what is the problem? So why are we seeing these things? I mean, other than that, it is giving me the thing I want, which is the variation, my textures. But it becomes obvious. These things become very obvious. And it does feel like there's something. It has something to do with the texture itself. Right. And it's not that. I've already tried these. Definitely not that. All right. Let's see if we can go a little bit more. Let's see. Unreal texture. No. What should we call this? Transition artifacts? Sharp lines, flicking when using Unreal, blah, blah, blah. First, because of the underlying frac math creating hard cutoffs. Yes. Isn't this the same video? I think it's the same video. Yeah, it's the same video. The fixed pixelated seams. This sounds promising. And of course, nothing on it. Let's see, he's doing something else. Now that's a different method. That's not what I want to look at. I want to figure out why is it that I'm getting these. Let's see, so it is this guy. This docket. So it could be compression settings, could be MIP settings. If I would do no MIP maps, what happens then? Nothing. So everything else is the same. Unreal Finya. Hi, how you doing? Do I remember? I think I do. But that's not something on you, by the way. If I can't remember, it's on me because I am terrible with name. But I do remember something with your name. So how you doing? Welcome. And if you know something about texture variation, please let me know because I'm struggling right now. Get this really sharp line. Not sure what it is. It's annoying. Seems to be firing firecrackers and things like that outside. Why? Makes no sense. Let's see if we can't. What if we just try a few of these things? What if we decrease the variation? What then? Can I still find these themes? No. Can't see it. There it is. So either this isn't doing anything at all, or keeping a variation level of 2 for this guy, this type of texture works. So how about we do that? Okay. Let's make sure this is 1. So it is happening. It is happening. So when is it returning? There you go. But still there. Yep. It's not making any difference. Variation scale, I'm pretty sure that is nothing either. What else could it be? It could just be texture itself. So how would you fix that? Let's see. Simply can't get an answer from AI or Claude because normal Googling just didn't work. This was what is called a noise mask. It could be a noise mask. In this particular case, it's a height map. But both noise masks and height maps are works within the 0 to 1 range and doesn't have any other values outside of outside of that. So there's no red, greens. It's just pure black and white. So it's both. But in this particular case, height. Let's see. So there's actually some advice. Let's see. Can't make it work. So it's telling me to look at the blend width, which could be the main culprit. Lower the variation tile blend. Do we have? We don't have that, do we? Which one is the variation tile blend? Maybe it's somewhere here. No, don't have that. And of course, it could be the mask itself, or rather the height texture in this case. Has something happened with it? Have I done something? So it's 2K. That's fine. Number of MIPS, 12. But it's BC7, so it's working with higher quality, right? What else am I touching? Not sRGB. Yes, fair. None of these. How about we try something else? How about we try this guy? What else? Does that help? It did something, because that looks different. If I go back, BC7, no, nothing. So what else? Texture sampling in the blend mask should be set to linear filtering. Not nearest point. Is that in here somewhere? Let's see. It could be part of this. I don't think so. Adding resizing. Could it be this guy? How about that? Yeah, that didn't do anything. Let's move that back. How about we do this? But it's not map mapping or whatever this does. Only using the first map map, which should keep the highest quality, right? What else? If the pixelated looks like stair stepping, is it? Does it? I guess so. So none of the tips seems to be the right one. Could it be, let's see if we can't figure this out. How about I do this? Let's tell it to use, where is it? Thought we had it as our max size. How about we reset that to 4K? About that? Yeah, nothing. Which is good because I don't want to use 4K. Line. Okay, here's something. Producing exactly the solid pixelated C mirror C. Okay, that sounds good. You're setting it to derivative alone is always not okay. on the text sample feed by the variation node, set map mode to derivative. All right, this is something else. What does this mean? Set map value mode to derivative. Is there really one called that? This looks like it's a complicated fix. Then create a text core node matching the original unshifted tiling. Right, run it through the DX nodes. Couldn't I just do this? I have to do it on this guy too. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a change, but it's not good. So no, that's not what we want. So where does this leave us? Is an issue with base texture, the height map. What? You need to be linear color, right? Let's do some more Googling. Unreal. Next variation node. Typically caused by hard breaks in the underlying height map blend. E properties. I mean, this is not going to fix the problem because we've tried this before. And let's try it again. Did I close it? I closed it. Like so. Let's just do edge comparison. This is not working. Try this quickly. This doesn't want. There is some artifacting going on, but I don't feel that is the issue. Oh wait, I did that, didn't I? We did this. Is that an issue? What if I do that instead? Did that fix it? No, it did not. I had so high hopes for this, because I've never seen this problem before, and I've not personally set that up, but I've seen people use it, and yeah, it's to fix MIP artifacts. Set your texture samples MIP derivative and use. It does say right there. This will from this and use. Wait, to fix MIP map artifacts. Set your texture samples. MIP mode derivative. All right, let's try it again. I think we already done this, but there's more information. Let's try it. All right, next is and use the dx/dy from this. I can't use these apparently. Okay, so ddx, ddy. Is there a difference between these? This will ensure the map are calculated from clean unmodified. Okay. X, Y. I mean, all right. It's still sharp as hell, but it's better. Could it be because of the texture I'm using? So this is the expected result, but it's showing off these really harsh lines because I'm using a certain type of texture. Is that an issue? How about what do the other things tell me? I know. Use the texture variation that can be used to break up tiling or for okay, if assigned to displacement map, no. It be used for regular texture samples. Make sure it's set. Make sure it's set texture samples to MIP map derivative. So blah. Now that is the result is better. It's still very sharp though. A bit less obvious. And now if we play around with these values, I mean, I can't see it from here. Well, if we turn that off, I'm assuming dither. I mean, that is not great. It could be the type of texture I'm using. No, you can see that is terrible. I can really go nuts. All right. Not the right call. It will work, I'm assuming, with the regular or the basics now. It is hard to work with on these. So the question is now, am I willing to accept this as a compromise? Or, I mean, I guess I have three options. Compromise, accept it, go through a research period. Perhaps there's something I'm missing, but finding it online while I'm streaming might be difficult. Or I skip this completely and use whatever I have. Because I'm not doing large planes, so you're not going to see the obvious patterns, right? So I might just get away with it. I think we should set a pin as I'm not still willing to give up on the idea of using this, but there might be a better method, a cleaner one, and I think I know a source to find that, but I can't do it while I'm live. So I'm going to accept a temporary. I'm going to retreat. This is not me losing the war. This is just me retreating. Yep, sounds good. Let's go with that. So what else? I had a plan. Right, blending objects. Props, blending the environment props with the terrain is probably the next. So how about we turn? No. Close all of these. So this is the rock material as it is. But this is also something I've never done before, so it's another, hopefully, better lesson than the last time. Let's see. I need to go to enable something. Okay, so project settings. Guessing this is already active, but we don't know yet. Let's see, rendering. Yeah. Let's see, enable. Yeah, it's already active. All right. All right. There we go. So next, we need a folder for the RBTs. I've already had one. I've already done some of this. Apparently, I have. All right. Let's leave that as is. Where are you? With this guy, right? Yep. Let's go with that. And then this. Let's start with 10. So that is the resolution. Just need to check. 10. And 10. Perfect. So you need to be changed to world height, apparently. Mm-hmm. All right. Next. Should probably do this in the normal level. Let's move over to that one. I wish I had some ice or something because it's really hot. All right. So let's pick this guy. And let's add a... No, it's right there. How big is it? It's sizable. Let's make it less big. Come on. Let's move this to this part. Oh, that is so slow. How about this? Oh my god. That's close. How about this? Oh my god, why is it so damn hard to resize? Do we do this? Nope, that's not what we do. That's closer. There you go. That's near enough. Let's increase the height a bit. That's too big. We can use math to do that. Perfect. That's near enough. See how this works. And where are you? It doesn't seem like there's the same options. Don't like that. Don't like when videos becomes obsolete. So we can do stuff with this. Landscape. All right, so we got the bounds. What else? Okay, so that might be the option I was looking for. Cool. Next, we need to pick this guy. Yeah, I already did that. Perfect. Okay, we need a duplicate. We need the height. Can't I just duplicate this guy? Yeah, if I do that, we'll copy this part. Let's move it ever so slightly. And instead of landscape, go to height. So your environment, your height, all right? Okay, so inside the landscape material, that's fair. Landscape materials. Landscape, so we need to tell it to use a runtime. Is it that guy? No, I'll put fair. Let's place this below. I've seen this one before. And from this, we need to get attribute materials. Now we need to add base. Yes. We don't need metallic, but we need spec. We need roughness. We need normal, right? Let's double check. Don't need that. Okay, an ambient occlusion, which isn't part of this. I think that's it. So base, spec, rough, normals. Seems enough. And he wants us to convert that. Okay. Do we run ads? We are running ads, so I'm gonna stop there and stretch legs. So I'll see you all in a little bit. All right. Hello, Muhammad. How you doing? Yeah, we just had a break. Bad timing, but it happens. Right. So we're back from the break. Remove the cable. Oh, there you go. And let's continue. So he's converting the normals to world. Not sure why yet, so let's do that. What's it called? Vector. Which one is it? It's just transform. Okay. Normal. Do world space and input that. Then we need world decision. It wants the Z. I might have to, once this is done, I might have to go through this and confirm what the hell is going on. Yes, hello, Moment. How you doing? I'm doing great. Just learning how to do this. I'm not sure if it's going to call it complicated setup, but it is just slightly beyond me right now. I understand parts of it, but some parts I'm not sure why we're doing. I'm going to have to go through all of it again afterwards. All right, so let's apply this landscape. Virtual textures. So there might be, there you go, and add. Apparently 2 of them. You're a bit sad because the TLV, the Tunisian football team, I like it's or almost out of the World Cup. Well, sorry to hear that. And you also finished exams. You also finished your exams 2 days ago, right? You mentioned that last time during stream that you were doing your exams. Well, hope it went well for you, so that you can catch up a bit. And also, sorry about your football team. It's the typical thing about the World Cup, right? The teams get thrown out. It's the system. And Scotland, Tunisia, did they play against each other? And Scotland they were not really kicked out yet. They're more or less likely to be kicked out, right? I think they were like on this borderline thing, assuming a lot of, like, if the world's align, the universe align, then they might make it. Oh, you like both? Oh, there you go. Well, Tunisia, I believe, is kicked out, right? Both are your teams. Oh, there you go. Okay, so now the complicated things are going on. We're using another texture. Which one? No, sorry, another material. And we're blending. Are we blending? We need to be. I'm assuming we're blending the rock material with whatever we grab from the other material, right? The height. Assume that is the case. So what if you're okay? I need to change this to. Okay. This needs to be set to a different type of settings. All right, we'll fix that in a bit. Scotland is usually the weakest team in all the World Cup right now. Is that true? I mean, I've never seen them do all that well, but I can't say they're the weakest, really. Let's do this. So we're gonna move this guy up here. Actually, let's do it this way. We can do this. Spec, rough, normal. Well position and ambient occlusion. Then we can turn this guy like so. Apparently, when he does it here, default lit. Well, yeah, I'm assuming that's the case, right? So if I do blend material attributes, push this in like so. Yeah, I will be focused on internship learning, game dev, and art. Oh, cool. Oh, Scotland has 1 point. You're mixing subjects right now, so I'm kind of confused. Okay, so you're going to do some game dev and art. That's really cool. You're keeping up with a lot of stuff right now. Well, as always, good luck with that too. But I do hope you feel like if you can be able to finish school too, so you have one project, finish that, then move on to the next. It does feel a lot better. It's not necessary to do it that way. You can always change your mind like halfway through a project and move on to the next because you feel like, nah, this is not for me, or you've learned everything you feel like you need to learn. But yeah, if you want to just finish one at a time or get what you want from one project but not finish it, then move on to the next. I mean, both are valid ways to go about, I guess. And it's summer. There you go. Yeah, it's summer too, and I feel it. I feel it so bad. I mean, I'm sure that the temperature differences between Tunisia and Sweden is like night and day. For us, when it's the 25, the 30s, it hits hard. And I've run I said this earlier in the stream, I had my AC on all day, more or less all day. I can't feel a difference. Yesterday was fine. Today, not so. You want a game like Mindustry? Mindustry? You have to elaborate on that one because I never heard of Mindustry before. And you have 48C. Oh, holy shit. Yeah, I don't even think while I do that. Well, I've been in a sauna higher temperature than that, but 48, no. I'll be all on my bed just dying. Probably. That's insane. Okay, so let's try this. World position. Right. And a runtime sampler. So I'm assuming we're grabbing whatever. And we want the height map. That's fair. So let's make sure this works first. Let's just make sure that I get the results I hope to get. Once that's done, I will probably have to go back and kind of go through what the actual H is happening. Okay. Yes, that makes sense. Again, I'm not going to try and figure out too much from this. World height right there. The only thing I can think of is that the position of the object right now will be subtracted by the height of the landscape. Something along those lines. And then we're going to have to do something else. Okay, and then hardness. Fair enough. Let's call it... Yeah, call it blend. Hardness, that works fine. He has set it to 10 as default, so let's try that. Yeah, and clamp it. Yep. Fair. Yeah, we can do that. Do this and set attribute. And let's add face color. So we're just going to try this out. Let's do it this way. And let's adjust this. What could be a good color to see a difference? Probably something like red. Apply. Like Mindustry is a strategy game, and you know it. I tell you about it exactly 7 times now, and I want to make something like it, but open world like Minecraft and 3D. It's a game like Factory, but better logic. I know that you've mentioned games to me before, but Mindustry, I can't say I remember that. Let's see if I can't refresh my memory by doing this. Google it. Mindustry. I mean, it doesn't ring a bell. You probably mentioned this before. Does look cool though. Honestly, I click on this. I'm gonna add a tab to this Steam page, and probably have a look because I love these types of game like Factorio, Satisfactory. I mean, you can mix it up with Minecraft. That kind of cool. An open-ended factory game with RTS and tower defense elements. All right, so it's not what I thought it was. It's tower defense stuff. That's also cool. All right, I got it. Tower defense and a strategy game. Yeah, that is the impression I got. All right, let's see what's happening. Give me. Oh, wait. It's yeah, I think that is what we want. I just need more of it, but I think that is what we want. All right. Now that looks really good. Well, let's see if we can't finish this off. What's more? Okay. I'm guessing more or less the final step, which will happen there, is that we need another runtime sampler. We're going to sample the environment, like so. We can remove this guy, and we can then add V4, which will be metallic, nope, spec, rough, and normal. So face, spec, normal, rough. Now that I think about it, you know what I probably could have done? Let's try that quickly. I want to see something. I can do it this way instead. No, I don't need that one. What if I need that one? What if I do it this way? Never mind. I was hoping that I could use the material attributes rather than sampling these individually. But apparently not. Alright, never mind. Keep it as is. Apply. What is that? There we go. I mean, it's not perfect. And some of them really blend together perfectly, but what about this guy? What about you? How about we find rock? I believe this is rock large, is it? Maybe not. Large. Not ledge. Ledge. No, it is this guy. Let's see. I was going to do this. Let's see. Where are you? Your blend hardness. Oh, there we go. Not perfect, but it's something. All right. Let's keep it at 20 for now. Tower defense. All right. And also I want to make a better researchers tree. Are you trying to say research tree in my game and servers like Minecraft? But I don't think I will be able to do that so fast. Well, first of all, game dev is never fast. So if you feel like you need to do something and it needs to be done quickly, game dev is probably not your the discipline you should be picking. It is very time consuming and you need to have a lot of patience when it comes to games. You could make very quick demos, but if you want to make things that looks like products people want to buy, then years is probably very realistic. Again, depending on the size though. So the goal is to make a map generator and basic movements mechanics. I think that sounds awesome. Go at it. But now I need to focus on fixing this stretching part, and I do believe it goes through that part in a second. Right. I forgot about that. We need to do a transform on this. And we need to go from the tangent space. We need to go from world to tangent. Because earlier we did the flip. We already transformed the normals at one point. Is it necessary to do it this way? Couldn't I not do the transform? Let's that is a question we can have a look at in a bit. Yeah, years. It takes years. I'm gonna look at, okay, I'm not saying I'm not working 24/7 or all the hours I have available to me on this project, but I have, this will be the 23rd stream, and I do 3 streams a week, so divided that by, to give or take 6 to 7 weeks I've spent on this project, like purely on the streaming part. Then I've done a few things offline, but I am nowhere near where I want to be, like as the final product. So it is very time consuming. It's fun, personally, I do love it, but it is time consuming. Okay, this is cool. Object bound. And let's do a comp. So I do believe he wants me to isolate the blue channel. That's fine. Ooh. Then we want to do a subtract. Now we're really getting into things I need to spend a lot of time on understanding. That's fun. Like so, I believe. And let's call this blend fall off. 23 hours a week. If you're referring to my streaming part, I would say I'm probably spending stream-wise and then add that to the game project, somewhere between 6 to 9 hours, depending on the stream. Average, probably less than that. Then I spend maybe 3 or 4, 5, 6 hours on top of that, fixing problems I wasn't able to fix while live. And then there's other things, yeah. Also, don't forget there is something I don't really like, but it's useful if I understand the script, and it's AI. AI has its spot. It is a tool like anything else. It's where you use it, and personally, I prefer it being used in boring, tedious projects or parts of the project rather than what I consider the fun, human side of a project, and that is the art, that is the lore, the thing that connects people to a game. We should probably, in my mind, you should avoid using AI. If it's for something like, hey, I need to fix this bug thing, or it's part of a document just kind of fixing spell checks or finding something in a document, I'm fine with that part because that could speed things up. But when it comes to generating the thing that draws us to a game, I prefer to avoid completely AI completely. It doesn't have any place in my games when it comes to that part. There we go. Final step or stage. We have 2 chapters left. Oh, we're not even fixing the vertical part yet. All right. Okay, so let's do it another way. Move this up. Make sure I see what I'm doing. All of the cleanup happens afterwards. So he wants me to, come on, vertex normals. Let's dock this thing so I don't have to see it. Rocks. He wants me then to do another isolation of the blue channel. Multiply that. Very straightforward. We're going to multiply that by a scalar called side remover. Very straightforward. And make sure that's 1, so nothing happens when we do this. Go. Adding AI to map generation is the future of open world games, specifically when there's a lot of AI models for free now online, like the Odyssey. Again, I don't know. Personally, I guess that is a gray zone in my mind. I understand if you have an open world and it needs a lot of data, a lot of things happening, then AI definitely could help. But again, I don't want it to touch the interesting art side or the details in itself. If you want to use it to convert certain data points to another data point and that helps, go for it. I just want to use AI as little as possible in my projects. And AI enemies, I mean, there's 2 ways to see AI enemies. There's the, I would call, traditional way, which is they have a behavior, but it's very rudimentary. And then you have what's been now called AI, which is a more advanced type of AI. I've seen games use it, but it doesn't feel like it's alive. It feels like an AI, like you're actually talking to ChatGPT, and people will notice straight away. So using AI for games to talk, it's right now, and in my mind, hopefully, forever a downside. I want to see people spend time and crafting a game rather than how can we as soon as possible spit out something. No, craft it for me. Spend time on the details because that's where a masterpiece is made. Final steps, I said before, or it said that. Yeah, right. Saturate, of course. Saturate. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Let's do some cleanup. There we go. So how does this look? That is now gone. What happened? Okay, so function. Now he's talking about cleaning up. That's not what I want. You agree? I am saying it's just learning it. Using AI to learn, absolutely. I think that's a great tool for learning. I'd probably not getting closer to the art, but if I found a problem with immediately, I will immediately memorize it. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I might sound like I'm very anti-AI, or maybe I don't, but have some worries when it comes to AI. I think AI could be used, and I also use AI to learn stuff. What I don't want to use AI is to make the project, because that is part of the fun for me, to make it. I do want to, when I get stuck, of course, I use AI to research or kind of help me get around certain problems that I'm not used to or probably unable to fix on my own. But yeah, limited, yes. And I'm starting to feel like I'm rambling on right now. A little whether it's a script or complex problems. It depends. Where did it go? Where did you go? Alright. Be quiet, Peter. Why is this happening? Wait, what? That does not look right. So, it needs to be saturated, right? Yes. Flip it. Bring the multiplier. Flip it again. His is working, which is the normal stuff. It's almost like it's meant to work in the tutorial. All right. There's probably something else going on. Because if I look at... Where is it? The RVT. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to see this guy. That... I'm not sure if that is correct. Is it though? It could be. No, it probably is correct. Could I adjust that a bit? Does it virtual text file? World height. Looks all right. There is a lot of games 100% on Steam. People just want to make profit, and they are actually sometimes more than the profits are actually more than big studios on AI. Yeah, you can definitely tell. I think when it comes to AI stuff. What's going on? Oh, wait. Am I meant to do that? No, wait. That's wrong, isn't it? Nope, it's correct. All right. So should we spend some time on see whether or not we can figure out what the hell is going on? All right. So where do we start? World height. So we're looking at the absolute world position, which means world position express outputs the position of the current pixel in world space. Common use are to find radial distance. Okay, that we don't need that. To output into the emissive current pixel. Is that what we want? We want the current pixel? I guess so. All right, so world position, we are subtracting the world height. And I'm assuming the world height is this guy. So if it's flat, I'm worried that it's not meant to look like this. That's worried me a bit. That we have a lot of this black area, which would mean that we're subtracting everything with nothing. But it did work when I had it like this. Let's move this over. When we did this. Oh, something really cool is happening. Wait, what? Why is it that bad? I'm sorry. What's going on? Actually, sometimes some people playing it and support it until people reveal it's 100% AI. I mean, at some cases, it's really hard to tell, isn't it? So, yeah. How about we do this? How about we do that? I'm assuming it might have to be a saturation thing. All right, so we're back to this. We have something. So that is up and down, and that's a hardness. So a higher value, less hardness. Okay. Let's try something like this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So it's blending in a bit more. Not great. Which is why we wanted to do something along these lines. So we're looking at the up value. We're multiplying that. Which in this case is 1. So everything that points up is now give it somewhere. Yeah, we do have values in up. We saturate that, which is also fine. And we take this value. But what does that mean? How about we do how about we do this? I need to do a set base color. I want to see what the mask looks like. So if we use the base color, like so. Then like so. Yeah, you're absolutely allowed to share ideas, Mohammed. Please go ahead. Okay, so this makes sense. Everything that is white will use the B output on the blend. And everything that is black or dark values will use more of the A input. Which exactly is what's happening, right? That's fair. But what I'm doing down here now... Or actually, let's do this. So I can make sure that is correct. So if I do this instead, so now those values should be flipped. So black on top, white at the bottom. Correct. And then I'm telling you, hey, look at the world space stuff. Let's just do this. I'm going to move this in. Everything that is white is up vectors or blue vector color values. Then I do this, which is not going to change anything. Do I know crypto and Bitcoin? Yes, I'm well aware. Although I'm not one who gambles with it, but yes, I know it. Okay, so I'm assuming if I increase this or decrease. Okay, so increasing that part. If I do this, I'm going to pure white. Okay, pure black. Right. And I saturate that. I should probably try that out. Yeah, that's what I expected. What I then do is I grab these two values, which is now white at the bottom, black on top. This is the opposite. And I multiply those together, meaning in the end, the white values from the first input should be remaining. No, they're gone. Is this really correct? And if I flip a black value, I'm just going to get white. So I'm not sure about this section right there. Let's leave it at this for now. Let's leave it at this. So this will give us that blend. Although I will still see the stretching that goes up and down. But I do have this blending now. What we could also do with that blending is if I go for a simple Heitler, this is my own node, which is more or less something I derived from the original Heitler. So what I did, let's say height spell Heitler. So this is the original Unreal Heitler, and it does more or less the same thing as what I just as the simple Heitler. The difference is I've removed a few things. It's just simplified. I'm only using these parts, and that part. Everything else I'm not using. So it's just simplified. And if we put that into this part, and then if I can find it, should have it somewhere. We'll probably just look for it, or yeah, just do this. Named. We want to use the base, right? Yeah, base height. Put it in. Add a contrast, and move that into the height. Some people from the EU make a big money in my country, and they are making a big profit because the electricity cost 0 DT, literally. That's insane. Not sure what that has to do with your game idea or your idea and Bitcoin stuff, though. But yeah, that's insane. So hopefully we should be seeing, if I'm making sure this is this will be a blend height contrast. Let's do that. Move this out like so. And if I increase this now, we can see that there's something's happening. It adds, hopefully, it will add details. Yeah, not much though. It's something, it's not a lot. I was hoping for a bit more than. And why is it so low? Oh, you said it's a random idea. Actually, you probably did. You had an idea, wanted to share it. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That didn't go the way I hoped. There's another way we can do it, which I did for the leaves. What if we have a look at that? Where are you? Environment, materials, vegetation. All right, we got ab breaks. So I'm gonna step up or just stretch a bit, and I highly recommend you do it too. And grab some water. Perhaps you have a dog or cat. Give them some attention, and I will be back in give or take a minute and a half. All right, so see you all in a bit. All right, there we go. Just gonna twist this a little bit. So, the idea that I want you to improve that gradient a bit, apart from removing that stretching. I do believe we could we reuse this guy? We might be able to be honest. I don't think this one, it does require blue. I'm doing it way. Is that a problem? Give me a second here. We're comparing these two, lerping that with this. What if I lerp these two, but with the mask we just made? Yes. If I do that, then use dot product, but then, alright, so now we have the dot product again. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's have a look. What? How did you look? Where are we at? This. I'm assuming this is fine. I might have made a mistake on the... Well, that is the height. It's just really not a lot of details in it. Okay. Which tells me I shouldn't expect much, because they, like, if you have a look, there's really not much to see. These are a bit better. The original height texture isn't really too detailed. All right, fair enough. But this is actually working the way I expected to. But it would be nice if there was a difference in this part. Can I do that? Can I add some type of variation, or should I just accept what I have and move on for now? probably should accept it to some extent, right? But it is moving a bit too much for my taste. About that, we need less hardness. It's not perfect. I mean, it blends a lot better, but there is another way to do it. Let's see. Where are you? Did see it somewhere. Let's have a look. Let's do not playback speed. Sure, it's high quality. All right. All right, not helping. Not helping. I think for now, this is fairly acceptable. Or another way. Let's have a see if I can't find it. Because it was using dithering rather than this virtual text blending, which could probably or might be just better. Let's see. Unreal Engine 5 landscape blending. No, that's not the one. Again. Let's see. Where are you? The point is, I like stuff that keep working while I focus on something else. That's fair. That's really fair. I personally also have some love for that type of systems. I mean, that's how I got into like the ISK stuff, which is an index fund. Not that I have the best background when it comes to financial decisions, and you should definitely not listen to me, but that is just me telling that I'm into it and I'm working with it, and it's hopefully in best of times generating more money than it would sitting in a regular bank account. Let's see. Well, that is the way I was thinking of, but it's not what I expected. So the idea was that you will be using something called the dither Oh god, I can't remember. Let's see. We can try it out, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. Let's close this and let's do a dither temporal A, right? So if we input this into pixel depth offset, probably have to do a multiply somehow. Depth, just call it that for now. And like so. Like so. Oh, you didn't. Okay. Yeah, it was poorly explained. So the idea is there are funds that you can invest money in, and over time, those funds, I would probably they are probably automated right now, but someone else will be using that money to invest in stocks. And over time, you wouldn't do anything to it. You would just add money to it, like small amounts, or periodically you would add more and more to it. And over time, historically, those funds grew somewhere between 7 to 10% each year. So that means every year you will be increasing the value of your funds with 7 to 10%. And that is higher, well, usually it is higher than having them on a regular bank account where you would get an interest of somewhere between, I don't know, a percentage to 3%. So, yeah, so you would increase your value 7 to 10% each year. Hopefully. It's still a gamble, so I'm not saying you should do this. It is a gamble, but it's very common, especially in Sweden, for people to invest in these types of things. And how about that? Nothing. I missed something. Let's see, 1 second. Yeah. That was a pure test, and I think it's failing. Where are you? So if I have $100, after a year it becomes $107? Yes, exactly. And after that, next year, it will then become a bit more than $114 because you also take into account that extra $7 each year. So over time, the graph is not a linear graph, it's an exponential graph. That's what it's called. So it increases the steepness of the graph, the amount of money you get in increases with each year. So it's just spikes upwards. But it's a long-term investment, and I am not saying you should do it. Do not listen to me when it comes to financial advice. It is something I'm doing, but it's not something I should be recommending unless you have spent time with it, talk to people. I am not an expert. I'm making up all the excuses not to be involved in your financial decision because that is on you. I should not get involved. Yeah. I think we reached a point where this is good. This didn't work the way I hoped it would. And similar to what we did earlier, I think we've reached a point where I should leave it as is because it is doing something for us. And it's probably the way I will be working from time to time. Just adding small improvements and improve those improvements over time. I mean, this looks a lot better. Let's see if we can't figure out which one this is. We can see the differences. It should be, let's do static mesh. I believe it's this guy. Yes. So let's launch the material. And if I zoom the right spots, we go down to these 2 or 3. Let's see if I can make it in. Nope, that's not the one. Give me a second. There you go, just behind my head or above it to this side. You can see the values. I'm gonna expose all these. Right, yep. If I adjust this, oh, it climbs. Is it also pushing down? Oh, it's also pushing down because of the depth. Wait, what? Is it? Really? That's insane if it is. Oh, it is. That is not intentional. But that's insane. And I'm not sure I want that. Why is that happening? I know I added... I mean, I meant to talk a bit about this at some point, but... So what I did down... here is that I, using the vertex normals from the up vector, I'm blending it, or multiplying that value, making a vector 3, and I'm inputting that into world position offset. So it's telling based on a black and white, based on this vector where x and y is all zeros, nothing will happen there. But in the blue channel, which is up and down, there's values that will tell it to push and pull on those vertices. But I'm not sure why it's doing it down here. Why are you doing that? Well, I am blending these two. Are you telling me? Okay. Then how about this? How about this? So apparently I can't do that over here. So what I'm expecting to see now, was that the issue with this guy? Could that have been the issue with this guy? It might have been. All right, one step at a time. Let's get the get attributes, get material attributes. I then want to grab world position offsets. Well, actually, I don't need to do this. Do I? Okay, no, well, I can do it this way. And no, I don't have to. What I need to do is set material attributes, and then go to the world position offsets. Do it this way. So as I adjust, it's this one, right? If I adjust this guy now, there we go. So now it's not affecting the positioning of them. There we go. I think this could be 0, 1. 0 is fine. So yeah. So now it's blending a lot better. We do still have all those things, but I think we're fine. Are you flying? No, you're not flying. Looked for a second as if it's actually flying. So yeah. So I want to go over that thing I just did earlier, which is, let's ignore that mess. This part, yeah. This part was really something I wanted to do in the previous session, but I did it offline because I wasn't sure. What happened was when I tried to do it, all of the vertices went from, instead of go up and down, they went up, down, left, right, went all over the place, which wasn't what I wanted. So instead, I'm grabbing the vertex normals, I'm making sure it's in the blue, means up and down, and I saturate that. The saturation part might not be necessary, but it's a safety precaution. Then I'm multiplying that with this parameter or this global parameter. And NPCs, we can talk about NPCs in a second. So I'm using this contrast, multiplying that on top of these values, and adding it to a new vector. So I'm making it from this scalar float, I'm making this vector 3, and that is then input into the world position offsets. So this allows me to adjust values in the up and down direction. So I can then pile on more snow. So if you have a look at this guy, and let's go to the correct material, and let's find, and where is it? I think I have to turn this off. There we go. So if I then use the snow position offset value, I can then tell it to move the snow up and down. And in this case, let's make sure it's like a 7 or 5. And yeah, it looks more like the snow is then piling on top. If I turn this off completely, this is what it looks like with no offsets, which might be hard to tell because it's all white. But if I then add, let's say a 10, just moves it up. It looks a lot better in my view. So I like it. Let's make sure it's set to use the NPC's values. Yeah. All right, and then you have the what's on the right. Yes. Then you have something called material collection parameters. What that is, see if I can remember where I put it. Let's turn that off. Here we go. So I created something called the material parameter collection, not whatever I said earlier. The material parameter collection allows me to create all of these different materials, the same as I've called them before, like the contrast for snow, the up contrast, the snow contrast, the intensity of the snow, which means the intensity of how much is piled up, and if there's a gradient between the dark values and the white values, and of course the position offset. And if I adjust these and I have these collection parameters inside my material, you can see I have all of them right there, then each material that uses this, each static mesh that then uses this material will automatically be updated. So if I have 100 of them and they all use this material and I want their specular to be the exact same, I just have to adjust the values in these NPC rocks, and that will propagate through all the assets. It's really useful, like I mentioned, if you have a lot of stuff in your scene. So yeah, awesome. That was great. Again, the blending is not perfect, but it is blending better than before. And I'll probably have to do the same for the trees, but I think that I can wait until I've solved the more some of these issues with the stretching. So what time is it? 21:15 or 9:15. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mentioned this when we started the stream. This is the disease texture. It looks like it's diseased. I need some kind of rock texture, which could be the next step. Let's see, I have its list. I have a list. My list tells me landscape height is actually that list is done. Next one will be to assign a cliffs texture to the terrain. So it would mean that in not this guy, or this, I need to open my landscape. This guy, all right. So I need to replace whatever texture I have in here with a cliff texture. The way we would do that is that I need to launch Substance Designer. I do have a few of these things I might have to do at some point. Yeah, variation, comments, and parameter names. Yeah, small stuff. I don't have to focus on that right now. Do it this way. Let's launch this guy. I'm going to reuse this graph because it has this correct packing. and outputs that I need for my landscape material. So we're going to call this. Oh, I need to do it this way. Save as. And I need to call it. Let's see. The best one will be. Do I have a proper text, proper glyph texture? How about let's try this called rock glyph something something. Let's use that. Let's call it rock glyph. And let's just call it 01. Go. In here, we want to import, now link bitmaps. And I want to go to my fab library and find I'm assuming I have it somewhere. Because I've grabbed that image in the PureRef from a folder. Rock cliff. That's one. It's not the right one. Let's do an EB0. There we go. Texture sets high. Let's grab. Then we need the ambient base. Displays normal. Roughness. We need the specular. We need the specular. Yeah, it's open. And drag these out into the level or the graph. Make sure AO is set to grayscale. Which one is it? Is it this guy? Displacement AO. Okay, so AO. Displacement needs to be grayscale. Roughness. I'm assuming this is roughness. Yes, and this would then be spec. All grayscale. Move it over. Do that using holding down shift and drag. We need to do this. Perfect. And finally, make sure all of these are connected. And double check whether or not these should be flipped. That's a good question, should they? How do I determine that again? Let's do this. Is the height, the displacement, and let's do that. Well, I don't need any detailed stuff. All I want to see where the direction of the green, red, should be this one. Also, I'll probably need to do this. Making sure the range is actually being used, the full range, because otherwise what you might see sometimes, let's see, this might be part of a texture you download. So if you have a look down in the histogram, you see this area where you have these diagonal lines. That means that we're not using that range. So we're not getting all the way up to the full 1 range. So we want to have that. And Megascan stuff, usually they're really good at that. But you can add an auto levels node afterwards that would stretch the values out all the way, which what you want in Unreal. So that should be it. Yes. That looks. Why is it so? That doesn't look great, does it? It could be for other reasons than the texture being off, because we're not using all the right outputs inside the graph, so the viewport, 3D viewport, kind of useless right now for me. And I need to rename this guy to call it Rock Cliff 1. And we also need to delete all of the snow covered ones. Okay. Save. Right click, export. That needs to be in textures. I think we're right. Output. Someone just told you that you're very boring? Why on earth would they do that? That makes no sense. Well, you just leave them be. They don't know what they're talking about. Alright, next. Let's go to textures, material, blah, blah. And let's import current. And this will probably be in source assets, environment. No, landscape, textures. That's not what I expected. But it's not something that I need to fix here and now. Right, that is a problem. Okay, that is something I need to fix at some point. Just give me a second, because I will forget this unless I write it down. Wait, what? Can't I add screenshot? Oh, there you go. Okay, so if I do that, and have a look at this guy. Perfect. Yeah, it's fine. You think you're boring? I don't think you're boring. We've talked about this before. Don't be harsh on yourself. No need. If you're boring or not, that is subjective and up to each individual. And if you think you're boring, you might reflect that outwards. So stop thinking you're boring and be proud of yourself. Don't need anything else. So let's see. You need to be this. You need to be that. Like I say, do not put yourself down. There's no point to it. I mean, you can be critical to yourself and tell yourself, hey, there's areas I need to improve. We all feel that in many cases, that in many times, it's often very valid, but make sure it's reasonable. Make sure you're not actually putting yourself down purely because of an arbitrary like inspiration you had because of someone else's words. I mean, a stranger telling you you're boring, so what? Doesn't matter. That's their problem, not yours. This needs to be like that. And of course, I think that's it. Save it all, close these, and go up here. All right, so you need to be... Oh, I need to fix this at some point too. All right, fix that another point, another time. All the things we need to fix. So many things. Never stops. Well, you're doing right. I think that's fine. There we go. That's pretty cool. Let's see if it looks great when we're at the... where is it? It should be here somewhere. Okay, where's my... There you go. There it is. A small area where I painted or sculpted in, so I just want to see. Ooh. Okay. Something feels off. Not sure what. It does look fairly decent. Well, we go to this guy. So, base color fine. Spec fine. Don't have subsurface, so that's fine. World normals looks fine. These are fine. Roughness. I'm assuming this is fine too. Metallic. Yes, that's fine. Yes, yes. But it is. So it is fine. What I would like to see, I guess, is a different tint. So how would we best do that? And so, honestly, let's do this first. Prime attributes. This is sec attributes. And this is the path attributes. Yeah, perfect. We'll get to that eventually. All right. But what I want to do is I want to change the base color's tint. The best way to do that is to get the secondary attributes. Is to get add a parameter. All right. So from this, I'm guessing we have a few options. And I want to try, we could try and multiply a desaturated version of the texture with a other vector. That's one option. Another option is to actually convert the RGB values to SHL or SHV, and then work with the saturation and the hues and the values, which is a different way to lost words, a different way to manipulate values of the colors. So let's try them both, see which one we like the best. So let's do this. Multiply, write the parameter. This is color tint. Do that. And let's do a desaturation node. And desaturate. Saturation. As misspelled, I don't care right now. And it's the value, the desaturation node will look at, hey, if it's 0, we don't desaturate. If it's 1, we fully desaturate. So I'm just gonna clamp that slider so it doesn't go above 1. You can always type it in, but we don't want to slide past. And then we do multiply with this guy. And let's add it to a certain value. Let's make it like neutral gray. Then this will be a set. And let's make it base color again. Do that. You know what? Let's do it this way. Add this over here. This guy over here. There we go. Now this should be fine. If I apply, go here, nothing should change. But if I go to landscape, here instance, slope, nope, nope. Wait, which one is it? I should keep track of the names. Oh, this one. Snow landscape. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's move that to the side. Don't need this anymore, or at least for now. Move this in, and now we should see the saturation up there. If I increase this 1, then it turns gray. Perfect. And in my experience, it seems like the multiplying tilt that we're doing right now works better when you have a fully desaturated base color. But yeah. All right, perfect timing, by the way. I need to go to the bathroom. We'll pick this up once I'm back from the break. All right, so see you all in, I guess, 1.5, 2 minutes. All right. There we go. I'm back. Right, so we desaturated the colors. So let's see where is low color tint. Let's add some color to it. Let's do some reds. All right, that's a lot. Let's sneak around a bit. So what I'm looking for is probably something in the cooler section. Because what I want to... Oh, there we go. That's actually a lot better. I do want some different values. Let's go into reds. Maybe some red is nice. I don't want the warm color right now. The idea is, as a scary game, a horror game, you want some cool colors, like cold colors, rather than cold colors. How about that? And let's throw this guy back and forth a bit. That is without the desaturation, and this is with the desaturation. Perfect. That worked fairly well. And we could probably make a material function of this and implement it in other textures or other materials, I should say. Actually, honestly, redundant words, but I am liking this section right now. It would be nice if we could use some tessellation, but that is such a... I know. Could we potentially use wear position offset? Could I use that? Probably could, but then again, there's a chance. No, wait. So that would likely not work. My guess is the landscape itself doesn't have enough points or resolution to it to allow a detailed points offset or pixel offset, whatever you want to call it, a position offset, unless we convert everything to nanites. I'm not so sure I want to do that. Not right now, at least. Perhaps in the future, which I might have to decide soon. Because if I want to use a nanite, it's probably smart to enable that feature as soon as possible rather than what I'm doing right now. But all right, for now, for today, we're gonna leave that decision for another day. All right, so that tinting worked well, but I do want to try the HSV version, which means that I need to grab the base color, do a convert or RGB. Perhaps it's RGB. There we go. RGB to. There's two versions. And which one is? Wait, there's two versions. Wait, what? So wait, what's the difference? Oh, this is more involved. Holy shit, this is a lot more involved. But why would I use this one when I can use this one? I don't know. All right, so what you do then? Is it, what's it called? Heaven's Lost Prop. Thank you for the follow. How you doing? Really appreciate that. That was a bit of a name, but I like it. A bit of a mouthful, but I like it. How you doing? What is it I want to do again? I got lost track. Yes. Break. How do I break this? Do I need to use component masks? Can't I use... Isn't there something that allows me to break these? I was pretty sure there was one. I'll break... It's nothing like that. About vector or something. Because it doesn't really make sense not to have... Because it's been in the engine before, hasn't it? Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's use a component mask. And let's split it up like this. So if this works the way I hope it does, then what I can do is I can adjust the red colors, which is the hue. That was the H, S, and V stands for. The H is hue, the S is saturation, and the V is value. So if I want to make something light, darker or brighter, I adjust the blue. If I want to desaturate it, which is exactly what we do up here, or add saturation, it's the green channel. Or if I want to adjust the hue, the color itself, then I adjust the red colors or the red value, red channel. And hopefully I'm not doing anything stupid when it comes to the conversion. And once I convert back to RGB, it should work very similar to this one, but perhaps even better. And that is what I'm trying to do right now. Mohammed, I should become Iron Man. Why would you want to be Iron Man? Really? You sure? That seems like a lot of work to me. All right, so what I want to do, I want to. These need to be between 0 and 1. And the way I adjust them, is either by multiplying or adding. Which one makes more sense? Let's try multiplying. You want to be Tony Stark? The one who had to die? Yeah, I don't know. Let's do this. This one is more involved compared to the other one. No, Tony Stark is cool, but I'm not sure I want to be in though. This would be hue. Let's make sure it's 1. This then will be saturate. Spell. Make it 1. And also make it simpler for myself. I'm just going to multiply that one. And call it value. And also, I'm assuming I need to do a saturate. That in my head makes sense. Come on. Because what I don't want to is to make sure is to have these values go above 1. I want to keep it to a clamped value. You want to be Batman? I mean, either way, both of them are pretty cool, so. And it's all up to you. I think I didn't I? Yeah, I did. Make a Vec. Make a Vec 3. And I forgot. This one needs to be called out. There we go. Batman is better. That kind of depends, I would say. If you're referring to Batman who got his back broken, I'm not sure about that. Batman seems to be taking a lot more beatings than Tony Stark. You're already Batman. You're not supposed to tell the world, are you? And HSV to RGB. So now I should have a way to adjust that. So if I then push this, let's do it this way. No, let's just do this. I'm not going to do a switch. I could do a switch, but I'm not going to. And now we're back. Rebuild. So, like so. Right, so hopefully either this is simpler to work with or it's gives us a better result. All right, you know what? All right. That does not make sense. Right. I need to rethink this. I think I'm making this a lot harder than it needs to be, but I know and see if I can make this work. What I want to do is add a multiply. And multiply by 0 and add it. Not multiply it, but add. Let's add it with 0.5. Right, because that should give me a hue value of gray, right? Isn't that how HSV works? Technically, you get to fight for justice every week. You technically get to fight for justice every week. How are you doing that, Mohammed? Now I'm curious. How are you fighting for justice every week? You tell me. Like so. Like so. In there, there. How about this? What are you saying? You're getting a beating every week? What are you doing, Mohammed? That's no fun. Hope you're doing okay. And hopefully it doesn't... I mean, it sounds cold to say hopefully it doesn't affect your school or college, but I mean, hopefully you're fine. That's what I'm trying to say. Dude. That sucks. Do you have anyone you can talk to? Like an authority or something like that? Because that's insane. Okay, so how about this? Now we're resetting all of these. 0.5. 0.5. So they should be gray. That's not gray. Because this is not gray. That's 2. Why is it 2? Oh, that's tiling. Oh, of course. Okay. That's not gray, is it? That's not even close to gray. Something's off. I will be, actually, it's normal everyone here, so you have to fight for your life. God damn. That's insane. Yeah, I've never had to go through that. That's absolutely insane. The idea that you have to fight for things, yeah, sucks. I do hope you're fine. Oh, there we go. That needs to be 0. It's still not correct. Because if I add all of these together, it should be black. It is black. Could it be because I'm saturating? All right, I'm adding saturation. Fair enough. Why? Oh, right. Fair enough. Now I'm getting there. It is working kind of how I expected it to do. But yeah. Delete this, delete that, delete this. Make sure these are set to 1. Honestly, I probably should have some kind of saturation stuff so you don't go above or below. But I think we'll be fine. You're okay? Okay, awesome. You used to be in a fight club for extra money. When you, dude, Mohammed, your life is absolutely insane. I think you mentioned you've been a shepherd where you fought desert wolves or something along those lines, and now you're talking about being in a fight club. And also, are you supposed to be talking about it? You're not supposed to talk about the fight club. I'm pretty sure. All right, so let's see. I want a darker value. That's not darker. That's brighter. I need to go the other way. There we go. And I want some saturation. And I want a certain hue. Let's go with this color hue. Don't need that. Let's do this. I mean, this is not great, is it? The other method is a lot easier to tell what I'm doing. Yeah. All right, decision made. This is overcomplicated, and I don't need it. That was fun, though. Fun test. I get it that it's normal, and I am happy that you're doing fine, and you're used to it. But it's really sad that it needs to be that way. And don't apologize. Don't apologize. You have done nothing to apologize for. I was mostly just shocked that, let's call it, let's say I'm naive when it comes to the rest of the world. I understand that there's parts of the world where people have to go through stuff that I don't have to go through in my normal day life. My life is, I'm really safe where I'm at, so I should be happy about that. And I do hope you're safe, which you seems to be, so I'm happy about that. And if you need to talk about something, please know where I'm at, and I'm all ears in any way I can help. Although it's not a lot, probably. Let's see. Lastly, let's do a switch parameter. And use tint. If it's true, use this. If it's false, use this and set it to base color. Let's clean this up ever so slightly. Yeah, that's fine. Didn't I change this? Oh, I'm not using it. I might use tint. There you go. Yeah, probably too dark, but I'll leave it for now. Let's have a look here. There's nothing because what? The slope isn't big enough. There. There's a bigger slope. Now we're down to that tiling. If I could get that tiling to work, this will be a perfect area to do it. This is very, like, super repetitive. And I do not like it. So what other options do I have? Can I warp the mask somehow? I don't think I can. It's the way I'm creating the warp. Well, I could potentially adjust the slope angle and things like that. Tangent normal. How is this guy working? I can input the tangent to the dot product. Okay, that's fair. Clamp it, yeah. Power, contrast. Okay. It's not super complicated. So what is it using if it's not? The preview value is up. Pull up. No, your life is better. You are safe, and I can tell it. Well, thank you. And yes, well, I am happy with my life, absolutely. And you travel, so you didn't fight wolf. Okay, wolves either avoid you or your partner a chance to a normal human when them with them last. So you're saying if you fight a wolf, you have no chance, which makes sense. I wouldn't expect anyone to fight a wolf and get out alive, assuming the wolf wants to kill you. Last year I told you about the lizard. Oh, right. The lizard. That's the thing. And now I remember. The lizard. All right. But, yeah. I mean, again, not to toot my own horn, but I am happy. I'm very lucky to be where I'm at. Be able to do the things I do without feeling threatened in any way. So, yes. Don't know what to say. I'm just happy that you're here. I guess that's where I should end it. So how could we improve this? We could try and work a bit with the UVs, because right now we're tiling these UVs the same. Rather than doing that, we could tile them differently. I mean, the snow might only have to be tiled one texture per every 2 meters. So one texture occupies 2 meters. But the rock could be one texture occupies 4 meters. That makes sense. So in essence, it will be something like this. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Add layers. And there we go. So each of these textures, and you can look this up on Fab or Quixel Megascans, whatever you want to call it. So let's say we have 2 textures. Like so. This is number 2, and this is number 1. And this one, according to Quixel, is 2 meters. It was assumed that when they took the photo scan picture, they looked at a 2 by 2 meter square and grabbed those. But this one, they might have looked at it 4 by 4. It's 4 meters. So when we tile this, and in this case, we're using a landscape UVs, or the landscape texture coordinate node. And we're dividing this. We're dividing it by, if we want 2 by 2, we're going to divide it by 2, I believe. So each grid from this, if I understood it correctly, is 1 by 1. I'm dividing it by 2. Will then give us that grid will then occupy a 2 by 2 meter grid. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if it makes sense. And well, either way, it should be working. Let's try it out quickly. Like in 2025 when I was working for the stonecutter and the construction. Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that. And you had to walk a long distance. That might have been while you were working for the stonecutter, but I do remember that you mentioned you had a long walk. So we're going to try this. Let's go to this, textures. And we're going to use, where are you? This guy. Let's add it. And for now, let's add this to this guy. And apply. What I should be seeing is this. Correct. So let's then go into, sorry, I'm just turn this off. There you go. Let's go to these and search for cube. There we go. And this guy, if I'm not mistaken, is either 2 by 2. I think this is 2 by 2. So you can see we have 1, 2, 1, 2 square grids. And that should be correct. If I go down here, Tile Master is set to 2 though. Maybe I'm wrong. What if we set it to 1? And nothing? No. I just remembered. The texture itself is a 4 by 4 or 2 by 2. So this makes sense. So if it's then expanded to 2, nothing changed. Why? Am I even in the right material? I think I know what's happening. Of course. Where are you? You are. Duh. That needs to be. Now things should be happening. So if I add this right there. Let's see. Yeah, Cobbler was there. Yeah, it's true. On Twitch. Where is he now? So if I remember correctly, Cobbler has had a lot of things on his plate because I believed he moved to a different country for a job opportunity. I don't remember the exact details. So he drops in every now and then. But right now he seems to be very occupied with whatever he's doing right now. And you're not home. All right. You're at school. Oh, there we go. So this is what I'm talking about. So earlier when it's just a regular coordinates, then the texture occupies, these 4 textures occupy what I'm assuming is either 2 by 2 or 1 by 1. So I can't remember this guy if it's 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. How do I check that? How do I know that this is 2 by 2 or 1 by 1? Can I do something else? Can I do like a collision? Do I need to let's do it. No, we can do a geometry, right? And if I do a box, I can then set these to 100, 100, and 100. Then move this guy down. No, I deleted it. Perfect. Move it down. And all right, so these are a cubic meter cubes. So 1 by 1 by 1. All right. So now each texture occupies a square meter of the grid. And if I do this, now it occupies 2 or 4 square meters of the texture. Perfect. So what we can do with this knowledge is we can tell, hey, I want these to occupy a 2 by 2. That might be the way they were taken or photo scanned. They were 2 by 2 textures. But this guy might have been a 4 by 4, which means this UV values needs to be divided by 4. Let's make sure that is also correct. So if I do this and grab, honestly, let's delete that guy. Move this all the way to this side, copy it, And let's do that 4 times. As you can see, it now occupies, it's a 4x4. Perfect. You're not home, you're not at school, you're actually at a cafe, and it's late. It is late. Aren't you and I on the same time zone? Or is it just an hour between us? You're ahead? Are you ahead of me in time zone wise? And if that's the case, it's like 11 p.m. And you have probably a trip home, so be careful. Right. So with this knowledge, we can then adjust our landscape material. I'm going to create 2 versions of these tiling UVs and have one go for the primary and one for the secondary, and tell it to use default values of 2 and 4. See if that works. Let's grab these. I'm going to move those to the side. I do want them still. And let's do this. Have this up here. Space. Let's call this prim UVs. Prim tiling. And copy all of these. And call this sec tiling. And input this over here. Make sure this is 4. And this is then sec UVs. And then we need to replace all of these with the, where are you? Sec UVs. And save. And now, I should look different over here. Like, barely. This needs to be connected again. Don't need this anymore. Perfect. I got to landscape. Drag you out. Let's try this. Where are you? Sec. Right there. What if we make you 8? There we go. Let's do this. I'm going to move the light source. You can do Control L in Unreal 5, and you can move the light source like this. And you need to hold down Control in order to do it perfectly. There we go. Great. Yes, I'm very happy about that. At some point, we probably need to fix this. Prime tile, need to do this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, perfect. How to spell Sweden, S-E? Well, I'm not sure how to correct or even give feedback on that because that's perfect spelling. Yeah. Spot on. Don't need that. That's good. So how does this look? How about we run around a bit? It's really slow. I'm gonna have to look into that. We have this. Might have a different type of snow on this one because it's really repetitive. We'll go over here, we'll go here. That looks like it's blending decently well. And one thing you might notice, if I do this and go close, okay, you didn't see it this time. It is warping ever so slightly. And my suspicion, I haven't confirmed it, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with the LEDs. Because I'm pretty, well, I am pretty, but that's another thing. I am certain that I set the LED from 0 to 1 to happen very early. So it's even like here's 0 and here's 1. And that seems to be creating these issues where the warping happens if I run into it like this. So another thing to look at. This one, it's blending. Yeah, not perfect. There's a bit more white to it. Small details, I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. That's just pretty much blending. It looks fine. We need to blend the trees at some point. These looks really great. Again, apart from the extra white values. I'm not sure why that is happening. Because it is the same base texture, the same white snow texture. This is nice. Looks great. What I want to see is the rock texture somewhere. It's 2106. Oh, dude. Yeah, do take care. And we can see some mixing of this cliff texture. Perfect. These needs to go at some point. They're not really blending, are they? They are not using any advanced materials either. You walking around right now? Well, do take care. Be careful. So what I want to see is if the tiling feels off. It doesn't really. It does feel like it's fairly decent, doesn't it? Yeah, see you, Mohammed. I'll see you next time, and be careful on your way home. Alright, so conclusion on this part of the work today. It is working. Tiling feels decent. I might have to or want to swap to a different type of cliff material. This one is I'm not sure how to explain it. I would like to have more directional, which means that it follows a certain direction. You'll see a directional texture when you see it. This one is more omnidirectional. And the colors, now that I look at them, a bit too gray, washed out. We might have to play around with adding the ambient occlusion into it, so we can multiply that into the shadows. That could give more of that pop to the texture. But it is there. We've added that texture, so it's not that sickly. Well, it's not really sickly, but it looked sickly when it was placed next to this whitish or pure white texture. So we've swapped that out. I would love to see less of this repeating pattern, although it's not as bad now that we tiled the rocks up a bit more. It's kind of hard to tell where it starts and ends. So that's good. And we did manage to blend the rocks, although again, it's not perfect. And here's another problem. You see, so now there's no snow on this rock enemy, and the reason is that is what's called an imposter. It's a very, very low poly asset, but it's using some shader magic, which I am not responsible for in any shape in any way. It is a amazing material, although it might be a bit too expensive. Haven't really looked into that yet. The point is, though, the reason it's not why it doesn't have any snow texture is because you need to bake new textures for these assets, and I haven't done that with the new snow on top texture mask. So I need to redo that baking, which it's not a big deal, but it just takes a bit of time. And the same for these trees, all the trees, except for these whatever you want to call them. Technically, they should be pines, but yeah, it doesn't really look like pine. So other than that, let's not start. Oh, I meant to do that. Let's not start the ads right now. Other than that, there are a few things. Well, actually, there's quite a lot of things. So apart from the baking of imposters, I need to add more stuff. That's a bit too sparse or barren right now. We need to look at the lights, which is something I'm planning to do in the near future. And we also need to look into adding height differences, like what you see in front of you right now is something I've just barely scratched the surface on when it comes to sculpting like elevation in the level. And this feels pretty good. So yeah, but I'm still working on whether or not I want the landscape details, like the bumps and the heights and the whatever, the sculpting, everything like that, if that should be man-made or handmade, as right now, it looks pretty good just for like 5 minutes of work. I'm honestly quite happy what it looks like right now, apart from more details. Either way, for this stage at least. But I do want to experiment with the idea of doing it procedurally. And that means I need a certain number of height texture decals that I can use with the landscape patch system in Unreal. And that is a system where if you place it on top of your landscape, the height map that's within that square of texture will then bump the landscape up. I do think I have one somewhere lying around. I believe it's this guy. If I do this, it might not work right now because, yeah, I don't know. Reasons. I might have crashed the system. It is working. It's chugging along. But the idea is that if I place multiple of these with various more detailed types of textures, because right now I'm using a simple blob. So it's just a blob. If I do that, I can get a lot of interesting heights procedurally. And on top of that, I can also add smaller versions of those that focus on like minor details. So that is interesting. I can do that. I could also purely ignore the procedural stuff, still use the landscape patches, but I can go into software, which I would probably use either way, called Gaia, or it might have changed the name right now, but it's, at least I'm familiar with it when it comes to Gaia's name. I'm familiar. Gaia, god damn. Like it's way too late. Gaia is the name of the software I'm familiar with. Although I've never used the software itself, I've heard of it. It would be a lot of fun to look at that, though. I'm just going to take a step back and blabbering as hell right now. But yeah, in the end, these are just a small part of a big list of things that needs to be done. And at some point, I got some water in my eye, splashed up through. That's so dumb. Well, at some point, I also need to decide whether or not I should place landscape work or environment work in general onto the side and start working on mechanics and other things, such as sound effects, mechanics, I mentioned mechanics, lore. I do have a very rough outline of a lore, but it's just for the first maybe 5-10 minutes of the game, and it's not really detailed enough. Mechanics wise, it's very sparse right now. I'm looking at keeping it just a bare minimum, very simple, and hopefully, because of my background as a non-programmer, I don't program, I don't code a lot, or barely anything at all. I want to keep it simple purely because of that, so that I don't throw anything super advanced into this and had to spend months trying to debug it. So I want to keep it simple, and hopefully the atmosphere and the lore added with the atmosphere would add enough to the game that people will find it interesting. But that's it. I think that is mostly what we've done today and what I want to do in the future. And the reason I'm doing this right now is because I'm trying to end the stream in a good manner, because I am tired. I should be going to bed. It's like 10:15. For many, that's not late, but for me, that's pretty. Right now, I'm feeling it right now, and you can probably hear in my way of pronouncing words and having issues finding words to put into a sentence. It's terrible. So with that said, how about, at least for the people over on Twitch, how about we find someone great? Let's see, where are we? Let's go to this guy. Let's see, what fun stuff is happening? Oh, a secret stream. That sounds interesting. What's this? So, this sounds fun. Let's try that. All right, everyone. So thank you all for showing up. We'll be ending the stream right now, and I will hopefully, unless something happened IRL, be back on Monday. Look forward to shorts and everything like that on my YouTube channel. And if you're interested, please do consider following me on YouTube or here on Twitch. It means a lot. Hopefully, eventually, someday, some month in the future, I'll be able to earn some bit of cash and do some commissions for or ask out and reach out for people to help me with commissions to add stuff into the game. That's the long-term goal, at least. Either way, I'm blabbering. Thank you for showing up, and I hope to see you all on Monday. Have a good day.